ever get that feeling? That strange, kind of dizzying sense that time isn't really working the way it's supposed to anymore? Like you're living inside this massive system that's supposed to be connecting everyone, but somehow you just feel isolated. Well, let's dive into that. Because that feeling, it has a name. And in this explainer, we're going to break it all down. Just let that sink in for a second. Our lives, they used to have a timeline, right? A story. But now they have a feed. The present isn't some quiet moment that you just experience. Oh no, it's a public stage, a platform where we're all constantly performing, curating our lives in real time for who even knows who's watching. And that leads right into this, which is the big paradox at the heart of all of this, isn't it? That feeling of being disconnected, of being alienated. It hasn't gone away, not at all. We've just rebranded it. We call it connectivity now. And we've talked ourselves into believing that being plugged into the network is the same thing as being genuinely connected to other people. All right, so this brings us to our first section. Welcome to the infinite now. We're talking about a time when the whole idea of a story gets replaced by the scroll. And this is really the heart of it. You're living in this constantly refreshing present. Your life isn't a story anymore, with a beginning, a middle, an end. Nope, it's been flattened out into this continuous, never-ending stream. The past, that's not a place you learn from. It's just old content that isn't trending anymore. And the future, well, that's not some goal you're working toward. It's just the next update, the next notification. So what are the symptoms of living like this? Well, for one, time just feels like an endlessly replenished feed. We're all in the state of what they call continuous partial engagement. Basically, our attention is always split. We're always on, but never really there. And this whole thing runs on anxiety. It's become this primary renewable resource. And that scroll, that endless thumb flick, it's kind of like a modern rosary bead, isn't it? A little ritual to reassure ourselves that, yep, the world is still out there. It's still happening. Okay, so who's the ghostwriter in this story? What's the engine behind this infinite now? Because this isn't random. There's an invisible hand curating your reality for you. And that brings us to our next section, the algorithm. And we've got to be clear, this goes so much deeper than just seeing ads for a pair of sneakers you clicked on once. We're talking about something called the algorithm aesthetic. It's this whole invisible pattern of feedback loops. It doesn't just filter your reality for you, it becomes the interface to your reality. It's not just suggesting what you might like, it's actively shaping what you will like. And here's how that feedback loop gets you. Step 1, the algorithm predicts your interiority. It makes a guess about who you are on the inside. Step 2, it serves that prediction right back to you, but it calls it your taste. Step 3, you start to become more like the things it shows you. And then the loop just repeats over and over, getting smarter, reinforcing itself, and slowly making you a more predictable, more optimized version of yourself. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. It's this world that feels like it has infinite options, endless intentionality. But it's an illusion. It's art without artists. It's choice without any real agency. So, okay, what happens when you scale this up? When it's not just about you, but about everyone? Well, that's what we're diving into next. Our world now in fragments. We've gone from a public square to literally a million private feeds. And just look at this comparison, it's pretty stark. You used to have democracy as a forum, right? A shared space where you had to deal with friction, with contradiction, with people you just plain didn't agree with. But now we have democracy as a filter. It's a privatized, custom-made little world for each of us, curated by preference and usually reinforced by outrage. We don't even speak the same language anymore. We just speak in different dialects of algorithm. And the political consequences of this, they're huge. Polarization becomes parallelization. That means we're not just on opposite sides anymore, we're living in separate realities with their own physics. Facts get outranked by what's recommended. And consensus? That's not something we build together anymore. It's just inferred by the algorithm. Even being a citizen starts to feel like just another user interface. And here's the great paradox in all of this. We have more connectivity than ever before in human history, yet everyone feels like they're not being heard. The issue isn't isolation. The condition is saturation. We're all just shouting into a storm of other voices and no one can hear a thing. So where does all this lead?
Well, this logic of algorithmic control is now reaching its ultimate expression. We're escalating things now, talking about the new machine gods, AI, global power, and what the future of control really looks like.
Trillions. That's the number of parameters in some of these large language models. I mean, how do you even begin to wrap your head around that? You can't. And that's exactly the point. AI is reintroducing this old idea of the sublime, that shudder you feel when you're faced with something so huge it's just completely incomprehensible.
And this quote gets at the real terror of it all. It's not that the machines are going to rise up and kill us like in the movies. No, the real terror is that they will never even care enough to. It's the horror of perfect, absolute indifference.
But it's interesting. This hypermodern condition plays out differently depending on where you are. In the West, it often looks like this: anxious, ironic, self-critical thing. We narrate our own decline as a kind of constant discourse. But in Chinese hypermodernity, it's very different. It's purposeful, administrative, confident, efficiency without democracy. They narrate their ascent as destiny.
But here's the crucial part. Despite the different flavors, the endgame is the same. Both of these systems are trying to quantify human behavior to the point where messy things like morality just become redundant. They're not necessary anymore.
Okay, that was a lot, and it's pretty heavy stuff. So the big question is, what can we do? How do we stay human in all this? That brings us to our final section, building a kind of scaffolding for meaning in this age of crazy acceleration.
The first tool in the toolkit, it's just one word: attention. And I don't mean just focusing while you're also doing 3 other things. I mean the real act of staying with something, a book, a conversation, a piece of music, long enough for it to actually change you. In a world that is literally designed to distract you, paying deep attention is a radical act.
The second one, relation. This is all about the willingness to exist in a world where you accept that other people's minds are opaque. You can't fully know them. It's about resisting that algorithmic urge to flatten everyone into a predictable data point and just accepting the messy, complex reality of other humans.
And the third tool, repair. Our culture is obsessed with disruption and innovation, the shiny new thing. But repair is about the practice of maintaining what can't be perfected. It's the slow, unglamorous, but absolutely vital work of tending to things, to relationships, to communities. It's the stuff that the culture of constant updates totally forgets about.
So how do you actually do this? Well, you practice what you could call a counter-algorithm. It's a practice of refusal. You deliberately reintroduce a little bit of friction back into your life. Read a book without scrolling through your phone. Sit in silence for a minute without needing to fill it. Just delay that dopamine feedback loop by 1 more second. Choose the pause. Every single time you do, it's a small act of reclaiming your own mind. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. In a world that is desperately trying to optimize you, what's the glitch in your own system that's worth preserving? The system sees our unpredictability, our inefficiency, our messy humanity as a bug, a problem to be solved. But maybe that's not a bug at all. Maybe it's a feature, the one thing that's truly worth holding on to.